right, this is Teresa Langton, and today we are going to be exploring the concept of subtraction. So we're going to be working on the problem 43 minus 27. We're going to go ahead and review some topics and that we will have already covered with the students that we're working with, but that we'll need to review throughout the lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and show some mini anchor charts that would be displayed in my room throughout the lessons that we cover on subtraction. I just made some mini anchor charts here. So assuming that we've already covered basic subtraction and math facts with the students, these are the subtraction strategies we would have covered and the strategies that the kids should know with basic single digit subtraction. So we'd be looking at subtracting 0. Any number minus 0 is the number itself. The same number strategy, any number minus itself gives you 0. Counting up or counting back, I usually call that a clap or a snap back. Reverse doubles. Making a 10. Addition or inverse operations, and I teach that even to my first graders. And also goes along with addition, but using a fact family. And sometimes I call that go with what you know. So today we will be exploring larger addition, subtraction, double digit subtraction. And for that, we're going to go ahead and look at some additional subtraction strategies that we'll have covered already. Now this is a double digit minus a single digit, and we will have covered these strategies and these sayings with the students. So if there's more on top, please don't stop. If when you look in your ones column, the number on the top is larger than the number on the bottom, you can go ahead and subtract straight through. So making sure that we display the strategy, but also give an example, provide an example. More on the floor, go next door, get 10 more. This is where we would be borrowing and then subtracting straight down, and I would make sure to provide an example for that. Now we're going to be using that strategy as well as this strategy, which does not always work for every student, but I think it's important to teach this strategy because we're thinking of numbers as it pertains to groups of 10. So the saying I use for this is smaller down below, go with what you know, and I give them the little prompt, think tens. So we're going to be using both of these strategies today as I work the problem with the students 43 minus 27. Now it's important to also recognize that I would most likely give students manipulatives, base 10 blocks, so that they can also work the problem with manipulatives. That would be a third strategy, but since I'm in a hotel room and I don't have those manipulatives with me today, we won't be using that. So let's first work the problem doing more on the floor, go next door. So if the number in the ones column is larger than the number on top, we're going to have to go ahead and borrow 10 from next door. So we're going to go ahead and cross our numbers out. Borrowing 10 means we have to take one away from here, add that 10 to our number, giving us 13. And now our number is large enough. We have more on the top, so we don't have to stop. So 13 minus 7, we can go ahead and use one of the strategies we already know, a strategy that we've already talked about with our subtraction strategies. And for this one, I would encourage the students to use an inverse operation, or they would do a reverse doubles plus 1. So 13 minus 7. They might say, well, 6 plus 6 gives us 12. One more would be 7, so your answer is 6. 3 minus 2, we can just go ahead and subtract straight down, giving us our answer. Now, I always tell the kids they're not done. They have to show me the proof. How do they show me the proof? Go back to their subtraction strategies, and they're going to have to use inverse operations to make sure that when they add, 16 plus 27 does give me the answer of 43. So let's use the other strategy, which is smaller down below. Go with what you know, and we're going to think tens. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to make this real quick. So we're going to look at 27. We want to go up to the next 10. What's the closest 10 to 27? It's 30. So 27 plus 3 is going to give me 30. Now we have to go back and circle that number. That's what we added to get to our next 10. Now we're at 30, but we need to get to 43. So 30 plus what number is going to give me 43? 13. We're going to circle that number. We're going to take these two numbers, add them together, and that should give me my difference. And of course, we're going to check our work using inverse operations. So there's two ways to solve.